how we do. Return to the noise is how we do. How we do. You know it's how we do.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Crown Peach Show. I am your host, Chris, and I am super excited to be here with my new friend, Dennis Forrester, and we are in his shop. Dennis Forrester is the owner, creator, and all-around guy for leather goods. If you want something leather, this is who you got to see. Dennis, thank you for being here.
Thank you for
in your shop.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out and visiting.
Yeah. Thank you for welcoming us into your workspace, all up in your space.
I love it. I feel most comfortable here than anywhere else. So
that's good to know.
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I was super excited when I reached out to you and I said, "Where are you at?" Because the moment I saw what you did, well, actually, let me rephrase that. I found him on TikTok. For some reason, your flip-flops.
Yeah.
Came onto my feed, and I don't think we were friends yet. No. And I immediately started following him and just stalking his page. And then one day I thought, you know what? Why don't I ask him to be on my show? So when I reached out to Dennis, I was crossing my fingers that he was either located in LA, Orange County, or Riverside County. And we won't tell anybody where you're at because we don't want you to get stalkers.
I'm in the Inland Empire.
There you go.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you say that because I had... Like when I set up my business, Google just put the home address as my address. And I'm like, I definitely don't want that. So I changed my address to the Starbucks down the street.
Smart.
So no one will just show up because there's times that people just call me off of Google and they think that I'm like a leather repair shop or whatever. And I'm like, well, this is weird. People are just calling me from Google.
Yeah, you're like, what do you mean you're outside?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you bring a pizza at least?
Yeah, I didn't want that to ever happen because people are crazy. You say the wrong thing on Facebook and they find out where your business is or whatever.
Or all of a sudden you're dating just because you say good morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
I keep it so professional in that regard.
You do. So, and what's funny too is in our correspondence, you thought I was a guy. I
just said, I forgot.
Brother.
You got it, brother. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shoot. I better let him know that I'm a girl.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. That was cool. So give us all a little backstory about you.
Okay. So I grew up in Huntington Beach. I went to Dwyer Middle School and Huntington Beach High School. Mm-hmm. After I graduated, at the time I was really active in my local church, Hope Chapel, Huntington Beach. And my old youth pastor had moved to Hawaii. So I went out to Hawaii to help out with the youth group there. And I was very active. And then I just didn't want to live in Hawaii my whole life. It sounds beautiful. It is to visit, but we were talking about this before. Like I can't do the heat and it's always hot there. I like to wear a sweatshirt every once in a while. It's humid. So I ended up moving back and really started kind of getting into art. I was going to community college in Orange County to study film. And I ended up selling a couple paintings. I did an art show and started this whole art program called Show of Hands, which was, at the time it was really big in Orange County in LA. And we would just get a huge collective of artists and do these massive art shows at salons or like lofts in LA and stuff like that. And and it ended up going crazy, and Hurley picked it up, the clothing company. So we were sponsored by them, and it got pretty crazy. And then I got too cocky. I got a little bit too big for my britches.
Sometimes,
and I ended up just thinking I was a lot cooler than I was. And, I was, I think 22 or 23 at the time. And you learn a lesson. It humbled me up real quick. And then at the time I was getting tattooed a lot at HB Tattoo. And that was in 2008, I remember, because the economy just dropped off and they couldn't pay me anymore as the counter help. So I just said, hey, why don't you apprentice me and don't pay me? And so I did that for 3 or 4 years. And after that, it was off to the races. I started tattooing. I was able to travel all over the place. I was fortunate, went to Japan, again, Hawaii, all over the place. And it opened up a lot of opportunities for me. And I was able to draw every single day and paint and really kind of hone the craft of my art that I do now. So kind of fast forward, because I could talk about this forever, but taking those imagery, like I really love turn of the century, like folk art, what people think of as like American traditional tattoo stuff. I just love it. And I know how to draw that way. So I saw that there was a gap in like the leathercraft world, because the majority of the people that do leathercraft and their tooling and, you know, the carving and the tooling stuff are doing Western stuff. And I'm not a Western guy at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm a hardcore kid from Orange County. Like I don't know that world. I've never ridden a horse. I don't own a cow. Like I don't do any of that. So
yeah.
I just thought it would be, and I'm not attracted to that kind of art,
Yeah.
just to be honest.
It didn't speak to you.
It didn't speak to me. And my grandpa was like, hey, you know, you should really get into stamping and tooling. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I just don't want to. He's like, well, will you just do something? I'm like, I don't even know. He's like, why don't you do a rose? And I'm like, and all of a sudden a light bulb went off and I just did this little rose. It was garbage and I still have it because it's important to keep all of your work. And I just kept, and I still have it on my Instagram because it's important to have that progress. And so I did that and I'm like, oh, I could do something with this. And then I just started progressing.
So was that your first piece, not to cut you off, that rose on leather?
Yeah, that was the very first one that I did.
So it was your grandpa that kept saying, just do it, just try it. And you thought, let me put a rose on this leather.
Yeah.
And then look at all this now.
And then, it really took off from there. And originally when I started the leathercraft in general, I wanted to really focus on like really, really upscale luxury stuff, working with, you know, musicians and working with athletes and kind of that group of people with like upscale leather goods. And then I just kind of feel like I've fallen into this, the tattoo imagery and doing like the photorealistic portraits, which funny, I never did in all of the years that I've done artwork. I've never done anything that was portrait stuff.
Really?
Ever.
Until you got to the leather.
Until I did that. Wow. And it's crazy. I actually did one early when I started TikTok. I did one for this guy, Angry Reactions, and he's like a TikTok character.
Okay.
And I did a portrait of him, and that took off and kind of went viral. But I just didn't see anybody doing this in the field. And now over the last few, I don't know, the 2 years that I'm doing it, it's become almost trendy. There's a lot of people that are doing this that reach out to me and like,
really?
It's really, really exciting.
Because you're the only person that I've seen do it.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody else come across my feed on Instagram or TikTok or anything like that. It was just you. And I think that it was flip-flops that I seen and you put them by the pool. And I just thought, that's another thing. The way you capture what you do is very appealing to the eye.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's like tattoo world meets arts meets, you know, just everything. The lighting, we talked about this off camera. But you had those two flip-flops by the pool, and I don't drink beer, but I was like, dang, I want a Corona now.
There you go.
Like I'm just craving a Corona with a lime now after seeing those flip-flops, you know? Is that, not to get off subject, but is that your number one seller? Is the flip-flops or something else?
Again, falling into things, right? Like going back, I mean, this will all tie in together. So doing the tooling stuff, I was like, oh, I'm like, let's try this. Yeah. And I now, because of that, I've been able to work with a bunch of celebrities, with athletes. Like I have projects that I'm doing, and I just fell into that with the sandals. It was getting close to summer, and I was like, I'll make myself a pair of sandals. And I do this thing on Sunday. It's called Selfish Sundays, which is where I make something for myself. I'm in here 6 days a week, but I don't want to not be in here. So I just don't want to do clients' work. I want to do something for myself or prototype, you know, patterns for next year's catalog or whatever. I was like, I'll try to make a pair of sandals. And I watched 2 YouTube videos, took like the pros and cons of the 2 versions of sandals that they made. And I just made a pair of sandals. And
so you're self-taught?
100%. Yeah.
That's amazing.
To the point where now I teach classes. I teach private classes here. I teach courses at Tandy in LA. Like I do online courses. Like
I love that. But back it up, because Dennis said Selfish Sundays. So from now on, if you can't reach me on Sunday, you can be like, Dennis said it's Selfish Sundays.
Oh, I recommend doing it. Like, you know, important. You got to take a Sabbath. I still work. I'm going to be in here. So I'm like, I want to be able to do it. So I made this pair of sandals, and I posted like the progress through my story. And this is how I know something is going to be something, because there's this like this traction, and it keeps building. And then every story post that I post, people are like, oh my God, when are these going to be available? I'm like, I haven't even finished this pair.
You're
like,
let me wear these first.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like the 3rd photo of the story that I'm making that day. And so I ended up doing that. And then I made a pair for my dad for Father's Day, and my dad's really into like that like Harley Davidson kind of like, even though he doesn't have a Harley Davidson, like
That's
flames
so
and skulls and like that biker kind of imagery. So I made him a pair with a skull, like a split skull, one side of the skull, one side of the skull on each side. So when you put them together, it's a complete skull. And ended up just going crazy. And this was right before, like a month or two before summer. And it went insane. And the video on TikTok got like 3.3 million views. And that, because summertime typically is really slow for leather crafters. Like, people correlate leather with colder weather. Yeah. Whatever. So, but it carried me all the way through.
And they don't associate it with flip-flops.
No.
It's like belts and wallets. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know I asked you, I was like, can you make a handbag? You know, and I'm going to patiently wait for that prototype because I'm really excited about that.
I had this cool opportunity too, which, because one, I'm getting a new sewing machine, so I will be making bags, but I'm so privy to have the absolute best leathersmiths as my good friends all over the world. Like, I'm so active within like the leather crafting community that I can go to any state, I can go to Canada, I can go to Korea, I can go anywhere, to Finland, and have a place to stay and places to work. The community around leathercraft, I had no idea. I'm coming from the tattoo world where everyone doesn't want to share anything. It's not friendly. And so this friend of mine who is an incredible bag maker, we just recently did a collaboration and we're going to be posting it. She made the bag, and then I made like a little panel. It's like it's a skull with like some Japanese like finger waves and a peony. And people ask me about handbags all the time. I'm like, if you're into doing a collaboration with me and this chick, then let's do it. Yeah. So
okay, we'll talk afterwards.
We're making it happen. We're making it happen.
Okay, good. Because I'm excited to show everybody what you made for me. Because I'm not going to share it with the guys.
Yeah, that's fine.
I know it's shaped like a guy's wallet.
I got some stuff for you guys that I can send you off with, anyways.
We'll definitely talk. I just lost my wallet. I have no idea where my wallet's at. It's floating around somewhere. And so when I saw the wallet, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Yeah, it's going to replace my wallet.
Yeah.
So, we talked about how you started. So you came from an art background. Yeah. And into tattoo. And the tattooing took you all over the world, right?
Yeah, for the most part. Definitely. Yeah. Art in general took me all over the place. Because even prior to tattooing, I was doing a lot of like fine art, basically painting on canvas and putting it in galleries and stuff like that. And those went crazy. And I remember one time I sold a single painting and I bought a plane ticket the following day to Japan. Wow. And that was how I lived my life in my 20s. Like, oh, I just made $3,000 on this painting. I'm going to Japan. Like, I'm buying a ticket. And I was really, like, I used every opportunity that I could to travel. I feel like traveling is the best investment that a human can make. You only have so much time on this floating rock, right? Like, go explore as much of it as you can. And I just think that traveling in general makes you a softer person in your heart. Like, I've been to the Middle East, I've been to Israel, to Palestine, and like sat at tables with people that we're conditioned in America to think are, savages, or they're the kindest people. Like the only torture I went through was just overeating. They just stuff you with food and you're like gluttonous afterwards.
Well, and I torture my family all the time then.
It's really like I highly recommend people traveling. It's the best thing.
So out of all the places you've been, where was your favorite place to visit?
Osaka, Japan. I'll go back. If I could go anywhere right now, I'd go there. And then once I got back, if someone said, hey, could you go anywhere else? I'd go right back there.
Really? Why is that?
I met some of the coolest people. My buddy Kenta, who I met here, his family's from there, and I stayed with them for a couple months. And it's a cultural thing. When you're standing on stones that have been there for 3,000 years.
Wow,
and you're like,
right?
We're used to 250 years of history in the U.S. And to be able to stand on places, it's just incredible. The artwork, the food is incredible. The like people in Japan, I think this is just like Asian culture is they don't think of me, they think of we. And that's the way that
That's the way that we should think more. We really should, instead of
it's more communal thinking.
Exactly. And instead of I, it should be the team, all of us. Let me reach back and grab this person, pull them forward. I get that completely. Yeah.
The hospitality, it's great. And I'm not even a fan of baseball, but I got to go to a couple of the it's teams called Houching Tigers. And I went to a couple of the baseball games and I became a huge fan. I actually got their logo tattooed on the top of my hand. And I love that.
What's the name of their team again?
Houching Tigers, the Osaka.
Houching Tigers.
Yeah.
It sounded like Crouching Tiger.
That's how I remember.
Yeah, that's what
it's very similar to that. Yeah.
I love that. That's good to know. We're going to take a really quick break, and you guys will get to see more of Dennis's craft. Give us 1 second.
You know what I mean? It's real deep, and I only want to share with y'all like a bird of a bear for y'all.
Hey everybody, we're back with Dennis Forrester, the creator, founder of 21 Grams, a leather goods company. So speaking of 21 Grams, what's up with the name? How did that come to be?
21 Grams it was a theory that a doctor was testing in, I think, 1903 or 1907, where he would weigh the human body as it was passing on into death. And his findings came that the human body lost 21 grams, and he attributed that to the weight of the human soul.
No
way. It turned out to be disproven, right?
Dang it.
Because obviously, but it's just something that I just found so interesting. And I like names of things that sound like they could almost be bad. Like you think of 21 grams, right? Yeah. You think it's a drug reference, but it's totally not a drug reference. It's actually about the human soul and and being in tune with all of that kind of stuff. And so I just
pulled a fast one on all of us.
Yep.
Because I was like, where's the 21 grams at?
Yeah, exactly.
It's inside of us, okay, you guys?
It's our soul. And, it's funny because I think it's important to have a name that leaves people questioning because it gets stuck in people's head. It's just, I have a background in marketing and I thought that it was something cool. I already got names for the 2 other companies that I'm going to be starting here in the next few years.
Nice. So, it's funny because when people tune into my show, they think they're going to see a whole lot of fruit.
Yeah.
But then, it's just me. Hey,
There you go.
So we're going to have to talk off camera too because I have an idea for a company, but I'm having a hard time finding a name for it. Everything else is falling into place, but I'm like, I don't know the name of it yet, so I can't launch anything else. But do you want to talk about the future of 21 Grams or the future of Dennis?
Yeah, absolutely. The future looks very bright. So I work with a company called Weaver Leather Supply. So I'm going to be bringing in one of their sewing machines. Everything that I do now is hand stitched. So it's very time consuming, and I always want my stuff to look hand stitched. Yeah. But so I'm getting a hand cranked machine, so it's still handmade. Yeah. I can still do it without electricity. I could still carry that, the handmade side, whatever. But I'm going to be bringing that in so I can be able to kick up production. And then I'm going to be starting a second company that is more attainable, more affordable. The stuff that I'm doing with 21 grams it's expensive. I don't have any apologies for it. It takes so long and it's very time consuming. And I don't want to be reached by everybody within that company. I want it to be special. I want it to be hard to get. I want to.
You want to keep the uniqueness of it going. It's so unique and it's so personable.
I think people value things more when they can't have it immediately.
When not everybody else has it too. Do you know what I mean? I love that.
I think and I want to create resale value. I want something that I make for somebody to be a family heirloom and something that they can hand off to their kids or their grandkids. And there's some value to that. You know what I mean? So I'm going to keep 21 grams as a high-end kind of more customizable thing. Then the next company, which I'm not going to release the name, but it's going to be more affordable. It's going to be very similar patterns that I'm using, but there's not going to be the artistic side to it. And because I'm going to be doing that, I want to bring in an apprentice to teach somebody the craft more hands-on. Somebody that will just be in the shop every single day with me. Somebody that I can hopefully pass on the what I know and leave them enough information that they can start their own business and, just kind of get that snowball effect. Hopefully they can teach somebody as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're willing to show and share your talents and teach someone else, how they can do something like this.
I think that you saying that's really important. Like we were talking about before, I'm seeing a lot of people bringing in like the tattoo imagery, and a lot of older people in my life think that that's bad because I'm trying to pass on this, but I find it really insecure when people get mad that people are copying them. Like you really, like, if anything, work harder then.
Yeah.
If they're starting to get like recognition for what they're doing, be stoked for them. Like I ship
and
stuff
it's the best compliment too.
Yeah, exactly. I ship stuff to New Zealand. Like I don't have to I don't have to serve just the local community. If my game's on point and I'm working really hard, then their success isn't going to hinder. Like their success doesn't hinder me. Like I want to see them do good.
The way I always think about it is, how does their shine affect you negatively? Like negatively. Like just let them shine too, and they're right in their own way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no competition.
It's insecurity.
We're our worst enemies and insecurity. You know what I mean? Like we're doing it to ourselves. There's no reason we can't lift each other up in some way or another. Right. And I think you bringing on an apprentice is just so, it speaks a lot to who you are as a person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I love it. And I think it's because I have such a unique personality where I can be very energetic and like, also like I'm very quiet
chill
to myself. Like sometimes I just want to listen to a podcast and like be like, hey, let's get all of this stuff going and just like be in your zone. And like also, hey, come over here, check out what I'm doing right here.
Your TikToks are also very relaxing too.
That's what I want.
Yes, just watching the process, you know what I mean? It's very relaxing just to put on.
That goes back to really why I even got into leathercraft. There was a few people that put out leathercraft videos, and for me, I struggle with anxiety and depression, and I would put on like videos of leathercraft and watch it, and there was a sense of accomplishment by watching someone else do something.
It was like soothing.
Yeah, and
watching the process from beginning to end.
And it is that. So that creates dopamine in my own head, which I need to replenish all of the time. So I'm like, even though I didn't do it, I could do that if I put practice. So so that's the second business. And meanwhile, I'm trying to get into slowly teaching myself how to make shoes, like high-end, like
I saw some up here.
Yeah,
I saw those.
I like to keep my like the first ones of anything that I do just to remind me.
It's a motivation too.
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
Look what I can do, and I can do it better.
Yeah, you're supposed to progress. Like all of these drawings back here, I keep. That's a 1 year of drawings, and I'll do some kind of video montage of them, and then put them in a file. And okay, that was 2022, and
I love it. So how long have you been doing the leather work?
I got an LLC in January 2021. I remember because 21 grams and I was 21. Yeah.
I was really thinking you were going to say like 5-10 years.
Oh no, I just started.
And you're killing it, Dennis. I'm so proud of you. It's so exciting.
Thank you. Yeah,
There's no excuses, people.
No.
Like if you have the idea, like put some time and energy and effort into it, and you never know. Do you know what I mean?
You just have to become a psychopath about one thing. Like dedicate all of your time and energy into one thing. Like obsess over it, and you'll make it work. Like there's times that I read through comments on TikTok and people like, or Facebook or whatever social media, like, oh, I wish I could do that. And I'm like,
well, then do it.
Instantly mad. I'm like, oh, do you think I just woke up yesterday? It's like, I missed birthdays, I missed weddings, I missed funerals, I didn't go on vacation.
And almost missed Thanksgiving the other day.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. I just worked through Thanksgiving morning, didn't even know it was Thanksgiving. Yeah. Like, my days it's Monday and Saturday every single day. I'm grateful like it's Saturday every single day, but there's no difference in the days for me. I work 7 days a week, and
you truly love what you do.
I love it.
You can tell.
I love it.
And you can feel it here. And like my team and I were talking about, like we get to come to you, and this is a treat for us too, to be in your space and feel your energy and just feel the creativity in the room. And it's because you spend so much time in here. Your energy is on the walls, literally.
Like crazy amounts of time in here. Like,
I bet.
It's insane. I watch the sun come up and the sun set every single day in this space. And to go back to what you're saying, like, you have like what I always say is that success doesn't reward laziness. No one just falls into making something successful. There's a lot of like crash and burns. There's a lot of failures, and it's really important to understand those failures and make them learning opportunities.
Yeah.
So I've become really good at showing those failures to other people through social media to be like, hey, I'm just learning this, but like in 6 months from now, I'll be the best at this. And people will comment like, how do you get so much done? I'm like, I don't sleep and I don't eat. Like,
that's the truth.
I just don't do anything else. Like, this is all I do. And I'm not like, it makes it easier. And this is the reason why I started my own company. Like, I never want to work as hard for someone else as I want to work for myself ever. Like, I'm not trying to make someone else rich. Like, I'm very like, I have strong opinions about that. But when it comes to myself, I want to do this. Like, and I want to be the best at it in the entire world. And you can't do that by being mediocre. And a movie, I don't want to get too far off topic, but a movie that always was really, really inspiring to me. It's called, I think it's called Gino Dreams of Sushi. And it like follows the sushi chef from Tokyo, and it tells his whole story. And basically it's just all about his dedication. He dedicated his entire life to this, and it just shows the whole story and his kids and the apprentices that came up underneath him. And if you're ever like struggling to find the motivation to do something, spend two hours of your time watching that. Realize that nothing comes easy to even the best at everything. Like, you want to know why someone's good at something, it's because they're doing so much stuff off camera that you don't see. And it's it's all of the things that you miss, I feel like, that make you good at something. All the things you miss make you good at something. Yeah. Like what? Birthdays, weddings, vacations, Thanksgiving. Not knowing what day it is. You do. That's the thing, is that the same. Like, find something that you love and let it kill you. That's what I am. Just doing. Not your spouse, okay? Yeah. Just not your spouse, okay? No. Oh my gosh. So, what is your favorite item to make? I like making. I'm working on a piece of just like framed art. Okay. I like doing like something that I can make it look like a flash sheet when you go into like a tattoo shop where you can pick a design. Like, I love that. So when I get to do something like that for a friend that's a tattooer, somebody that commissioned me to put something in their tattoo shop, I think it's so crazy, because I grew up looking at this kind of imagery on the wall, and it's flat. Yes. To make something that is flat, 3-dimensional, and come off, and learning how to like make things in the foreground and the background, like it's super exciting. But at the same time, I like making anything. I like making the sandals that I make. I like the wallets that I can get done in 2 days, and projects that I can kind of flip. And I like doing things that have no artwork at all, where I can put my camera away, I can turn my phone on Do Not Disturb, put on a cool, like some good music or whatever, and just make something. Prototype something. With your hands, don't dig into it. It gets overwhelming sometimes, feeling that you have to put so much content out there all of the time. Yeah, I'm still working on that. I hear it all the time from these guys, more content. I'm like, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm just going to put when I have a meltdown in the morning, when I can't find my shoe. Like, that's going to be my content. That's entertaining. Believe it or not, people would like to see that. Yeah. Okay, so you just like to put your hands on the leather. Yeah. What's your process in picking the leather? Well, again, I've been really fortunate to work with the leaders in the leather supply industry or whatever. And I've been able to work with, there's companies that just send me stuff so that I can use their stuff for whatever. And I've been really fortunate that I found a company that I love, that love me, and they're super supportive. It's called The Leather Company. Look them up if you are on Instagram. The Leather Company. They make the best leather for the carving and the tooling. It's like, how to explain? It's like, when you get like fake plants and there's that like green spongy stuff. Oh, yes. It crunches that way, and anyone that does like tooling and leather, like it's so spongy and so good, and you can tell a difference.
So it's easier to work on.
It's easier to work on, and it holds the imprint of the stamp that you're using really, really strong, and it's just good. And I feel like it's better leather because I like the dude that makes it. Like.
That's a difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I like that.
When we were talking earlier, I think that there's a misconception about handmade leather goods and what you think of when you go to Macy's and get a leather wallet. Like there's different grades of leather. There's different parts of the hide that it comes off of. Getting something from the shoulder compared to the belly is going to be 100% different. And this is all stuff I had no idea about.
Do they ever use the backside of the leather?
Like the flesh side?
Like the bottom half of the leather?
Yeah, that's what they make suede out of.
Okay, so
like if they split that,
I'm just putting this out there right now. I want my bag to come from the ass of the leather. Okay.
Oh, that's what you mean. Got it.
You know, like my peach made from the back end of the leather. Okay?
What we could do then is there's this stuff called shell cordovan, and it's literally from a horse ass, and it's crazy expensive.
Really?
Like for the piece this big, it's like $400. It's like silly expensive, but it's really hard to come by. They only have 2 of them per horse, so
there's like 2 sides,
and they're this big.
Maybe I don't want it to come from a horse ass.
Yeah.
Because I don't want my purse to be. That's the horse's ass's purse. Like maybe not from the horse's ass.
It's crazy expensive, but that goes to say what the different qualities in leather is.
Yeah.
Like if you go on Amazon and pick up like a panel that's this big and it's $20, it's not good leather. If you can buy,
you get what you pay for.
Yeah, you can
anything, right?
Of course, you could buy a whole side. A side, which would be a side of a cow, a hide, and it could range you anywhere to $600-700 just for that.
Is that easy to work on, the cow?
If you have enough surface area, I'm really lucky because I built this whole shop, so I have pretty much enough surface. Like there was a balance because I only have so much room, but if you have a big table, it's awesome. But you can always make it work. If you don't have a big table, cut it on the floor. Like. Don't use it as an excuse, but it is hard and it's heavy and it's hard to like unroll it, especially if it's really thick leather. It's a crazy material to work with. Like
I bet
it's since you're working with skin. Like when you put
it that way, I know. I'm like,
there's times I come in like I'm done sanding. Usually, I don't ever look like this when I'm working. Like I'm covered, like head to toe, and like.
I just got flashes of Hannibal Lecter right now. I don't know why, because I'm like, as soon as you said skin, it's the lotion on the skin.
My wife comes out to say she's leaving for work, and I give her a hug, and because she's like, you have like skin dust all over you. Like it's cow skin, but sawdust. And I'm like, I don't even think about it anymore. Blow your nose after sanding in here. Oh, it's just all of the
funky.
I wear a mask more now. Yeah.
I love how passionate you are about this.
I love it.
It really shows and it comes out, even if you're not on camera in your TikTok videos or Instagram videos, it just comes through, that you're so passionate about what you do and you're so eager to show somebody else. So I hope you find the right apprentice. I really do.
I do too. The reason why I'm so excited and passionate about it is because I really feel like it saved my life. Not like figuratively, but like literally. Like I found leathercraft at a very, very dark portion of my life, and it was something to get me out of my head. And the more people that I talk to that struggle with the same struggles that go on in our head sometimes, there are so many people that are in leathercraft that found it for the same reason. There's like a sub community within a community of people that are in recovering addicts that do it, because there's a lot of things that go into like, there's so many steps that you have so many opportunities to be proud of yourself through the process.
Like I did that one. What is the process? You want to tell us really quick?
Sure. So, I come up with a pattern. I design all of my own patterns. So once I get through the prototyping, I make 3 or 4 of something, send it out to friends and family. I send it out to the people that are not rude, but like will tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. Yeah. I always tell them like, I want to hear the worst things. Please give it to them. They give it back to me with all of the notes. I make, I take all of their, make another version, but get it back and forth. And then once I come up with something and I have the pattern, I make patterns out of cardstock, and I roll out my leather, use like a little scratching awl, and, go around, pull out the patterns, use my knives, cut out full pieces of everything. Otherwise, I have like dies in here, which are like cookie cutters for leather. And I use my clicker press, which is awesome. It's so fast. So like
this one here, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Weaver.
Yes.
They take good care of me.
Shout out to Weaver.
Shout out to Weaver. They're awesome. So when I have an opportunity, I use that. But a lot of the stuff that I make takes 4 days to make. So to cut out a couple pieces, it's not that hard for me. It's not like I'm doing production stuff. Once I start the second company, it will be more like that. But so I cut everything up. There's so many steps to it. Like I skive things down, kind of. For a wallet, I put the T pockets in, and then the flat pocket. You got to build all of those, and it's like a staircase, and then you sew all of those together. Every piece is like hand sewn. So if I have a bifold wallet that has 8 pockets in it, I've sewn in 8 pockets.
So there's some wallets out there with your DNA in it. Have you ever poked yourself for
blood, sweat, and tears? Like I'm constantly cutting myself.
That was one of my questions. Yeah. Like, how many times do you cut yourself?
Oh, like all the time.
Nicks and cuts everywhere.
I think I cry more than I bleed, but I definitely sweat more.
Imagine if there was cameras in here. I could just picture like having a Jim Carrey moment, like
Sometimes I'll just put a camera like with a wide angle, like in the corner of my shop, and let it run time lapse for the entire day and put that on my YouTube, or just put the fisheye or whatever and do an Instagram live, and I don't even look at that anymore. Just let it run for a couple hours while I'm working. And like there's people that like I'm a nerd for that. I'll look up YouTube like leather shops or whatever to see what their ideas are, and that kind of stuff is cool to us like nerds.
There are people that will sit there and watch it. I'm telling you, when you first came on my TikTok feed, because I get I have a lot of girl followers, so I get like a lot of like, we hate men, type of thing, right? And I'm like, okay, not me, not today. You know what I mean? Today. So, and then I found yours, and I just was like, instantly just like hooked. And then when I found out you had an Instagram, I was like, that's how I'm gonna get him. Yeah. And then I followed you on Instagram, and I was like, let me just slide in his DMs really quick. So I'm so glad it worked out.
It's so funny because I have what I would think, like coming up on 200,000 followers on TikTok, which makes no difference really, because you either produce some good content and it gets seen by these people, whether you have 10 followers or 1 million followers, it doesn't matter. So there's something very impersonal about TikTok. And I always tell people, find me on Instagram, because if you message or leave a comment and there's 20,000 comments, like I can't do all of that. So but then it also kind of weeds people out, because if you're serious about getting something from me, you'll put the effort in to look for my
go to my website,
look my email, my Instagram. Like I know how to buy stuff from artists on TikTok. Like you figure it out if you really want something.
Yeah, you click the link in the bio, people.
That's the fun part. I remember having to like search down like music that you couldn't just download. Like you'd have to get a tape from someone, copy that tape. And I'm aging myself a little bit.
A little LimeWire there.
Yeah.
I aged myself even more. Yes. Oh my gosh. This has been great, Dennis. Thank you so much for opening your shop up to us. Before we go, though, I want you to let everybody know where they can follow you and where they can purchase your lovely leather products.
Awesome. Well, you guys are always welcome to come back. I appreciate it. So you can find my stuff at 21gramsleathergoods.com. My email address is 21gramsleathergoodsinfo@gmail.com. I check my email once or twice a week, and then I get back to everyone all at once. Instagram and TikTok are the same. It's 21grams_leathergoods. I'm on Facebook, but I hate it, and I don't really use it. Like, it's just a hateful place. So I don't do Twitter. My TikTok is 21gramsleathergoods. There might be an underscore. Just type in 21gramsleathergoods on YouTube. You're going to find it. I do a lot of tutorials there. I also have a secondary Instagram, which is 21grams_teaches. And that is quick tutorials, 1-minute tutorials on how to sew, how to sharpen your tools, how to, whatever it is. Like I really love education, and it teaches me faster. Like I learn more from teaching than I could do anything else. So if you're getting into anything and you're brand new to it, teach one of your friends how to do the step you just learned, and you'll get better for the next step. Little trick for you.
That's great. Thank you again for being here with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for being here with us. This has been the Crown Peach Show. I am your host. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and also watch us on Urban Soul TV. If you email me or DM me, please keep it simple. Kiss it. That's a wrap. Yay!
All right.
You're welcome.
That's how we do. Return to the noise is how we do. How we do. You know it's how we do. It goes. Kick off your shoes, relax your feet. Keep your iceberg, step down, bring the heat. Classes in session, everybody take a seat. You got a problem.